pounds of pork fat ground here. And I got 15 pounds of venison ground up. Going to be making some venison sausage today. And I think I mentioned in a past video, maybe it was the grinding deer, how to grind deer burger, that while we're hunting during the year and the deer season's in progress, we hunt, and as we take animals, we go ahead and quarter them. We take the quality cuts out of the hind quarter and the back straps and roast and stuff. And the rest of the meat, like the shoulders and the excess meat on ribs, stuff like that, we go ahead and package that up in 3-pound packages of trimmings. Just chunks, and freeze it so we can grind it later. Now after the season's ended, it's February now and the season's over, and I've gotten into those trimmings. I'm going to be making some burger like we always do every year. And this year we had a pretty successful season. Got some right nice deer, some right nice sized ones, quite a few of them. So I'm going to be making some venison sausage. What I did was I went up to the butcher and I got 5 pounds of pork fat, and I ground that up, and I've got 15 pounds of ground venison here. You want to use a heavier mix. When I'm grinding burger, I use about 10% fat. The sausage, you want to use 25% fat. So I've obtained the meat and I ground it up, and that was pretty quick and easy this morning. I got up and just ground it. It took about 20 minutes to get it all ground up. This didn't start this morning though. I'm going to be stuffing the sausage into casings, and I ordered the casings a while back. I got the salted casings. You can get them 2 ways, either salted or in solution. I like to get the salted casings because they last quite a bit longer. The shelf life is pretty much indefinite when you get salted casings. Problem with those is the ones in solution are moist and you can just put them on the stuffer. The salted casings actually come in a big hank, and they come in bulk and they can get a little tangled up. So I sat down last night and spent some time untangling the casings. They're a little dried out, so what I did was I spent some time untangling them, laying them out on the table nice and straight. I selected what I thought would be an appropriate amount for the 20 pounds of sausage I'm making, and because they are salted and dried, you have to reconstitute them. So I put them into small bowls of water, my sections of casing, and I tried to loop them around so hopefully they won't tie in knots as I take them out to put them on the stuffer tube this afternoon. But they can be a little difficult to work with, but we'll get it done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my meat here and I'm going to mix it with the seasonings. The first step, of course, is going to be getting the venison and the fat mixed together well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knead this together, the fat and the meat, with my hands, and try to get the fat distributed well throughout the meat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take it once I've mixed it well and run it through the grinder a second time to make sure the fat is thoroughly distributed throughout the deer meat. Hand mixing and then grinding again will assure we've got a good distribution of fat throughout all the meat. Once you've got your fat and your venison combined, it's time to season the mixture. Now you can use any seasoning mix you want. Use Grandma's old sausage recipe. If you want to try one you found in a recipe book somewhere, great. Today I'm using these packets from LEM Products, mainly because I got them for Christmas. Thanks, Michael. But yeah, you want to take your dry seasoning and mix that thoroughly in cold water. Use 1 ounce of water for every pound of meat. Dissolve that into the water, mix it up well, pour it over the meat, and mix thoroughly. And then we're going to move on to stuffing this into the casings. So I packed the meat into my sausage stuffer and I kneaded it down really well to get all the air out of the mixture. You don't want any air in your meat. I'm going to go ahead and load this, and I'm going to hand crank this down onto the meat, and I'm going to crank it down until the sausage is coming down the stuffing tube almost to the end. That'll eliminate any air in the tube, and once the meat is fed through, I'm going to scrape the excess off the end. Now it's time to put the casings onto the tube. So last night when I placed these in the water, I left a little tag end hanging over the side of the bowl so I could easily recover the end, because these things get real slippery after they've soaked. Now I'm going to cut the end off the casing, find the opening, and I'm going to feed the casing up over the stuffing tube on the sausage stuffer. When I get the tube fed all the way up on there, I'm going to leave a few inches hanging off the end in excess so I can tie a knot in the casing. Alright, this is the fun part. We're just going to go ahead and crank down on the handle, and your sausage is going to feed out the tube. You want to keep it going slow and even pressure as you go, and fill your casing. And we're going to just run this tube of casing. You want to try to make the product as even as possible, and just run that casing right off the tube, stuffing tube. Oh yeah, get some nice sausage going here. Nice breakfast links. Oh, I broke the casing. Broke the casing. No big problem there. We'll just go ahead and tie another knot. Keep right on going. Alright, so I've got all my meat stuffed into the casings now, and it's laid out here in strands on the table. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to go over it and poke little holes in any of the air pockets that I find. For instance, here's a spot here, got quite a bit of air in it. I'm going to poke some holes in this. And once we have all the air pockets drained, I'm going to section it into serving size portions. What I've done is I took one sausage and made it about the serving size I want, and I cut it away from the tube. Now I'm going to lay that up there for reference, and I'm going to move along the string. I'm going to pinch it down at that size and give it a number twist so it links off. And I'm going to continue that process, pinch down, twist, all the way down to the end of the line. Move on to the next string, and I should wind up with some really nice looking sausages here, I think. Okay, so I've got this pile of sausage pretty much linked off and they're mostly the same size. Nice links of breakfast sausage here, got quite a few of them. All that remains to be done is to go ahead and get a cutting board and a real sharp knife and cut the little tag ends of casing off so they look nice, and separate them at the twist. And once you've got that done, you've got a nice pile of breakfast links. But since I've got all the equipment out, I'm going to go ahead and wash it off and get right back to work making 10 pounds of fresh Italian sausages for the grill. Alright, so I've got the dinner sausages now, these sweet Italians for the grill. I went ahead and cranked them through the grinder. I used larger size casings. The breakfast sausage went in smaller casings. I used the larger tube and the larger casings for these dinner sausages. And these are typically going to be cooked on the grill. But what I'm doing here is they're all cased up, and I'm running my hand down to make sure I've got a uniform size here. And as I do that, I'm popping the little air pockets in the casing and squeezing a little bit so I get a nice uniform size. Then I'm twisting and cutting it off, adding it to my pile here. Alright, I have been wanting to make some sausage for a few years, and here it is. I've got 10 pounds of breakfast sausage and 10 pounds of Italian sausage for the grill, and it is looking delicious. One more step. Most recipes say let this meat sit overnight to season well. You're going to want to do that after you put the meat in the casings, because this meat's already starting to stiffen up a little bit. All that salt and stuff in the seasoning tends to make the meat get hard. It sets up, and if you season it and let it sit overnight before you stuff it in the casing, it's going to be the devil to work with. But you know, home processing of deer is not difficult. Michael's coming by tomorrow. He's going to give me a hand. We're going to do the rest of the deer. We got 180 pounds to grind into burger, and that's going to be a little bit of work when you're dealing with that much, but it'll take a day. We'll get it all processed. It's a great way to pass the time between the seasons. Between the time deer season closes and the fish start biting and the turkeys start gobbling, you can save yourself some money processing your own deer meat. We do it every year, and it provides great eating for our family and friends. So we're going to be getting back out there soon. Spring is almost here, and we're going to be out. We got a turkey hunt in Florida planned. Everybody's coming down. They'll probably be doing some herping there too. In the meantime, join us on a few of our past adventures where we took some of this deer, or get some more tips on home processing your own game. We'll see you again real soon. We're CamoChairProductions.com, sharing the outdoors on YouTube.